morning. It is Sunday morning, and as you can hear, my upstairs neighbor, it sounds like they have a jungle gym in the middle of the floor, and they have 32 children that are playing on it. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's very noisy and annoying, but you know what? We move. My hair looks a little crazy. I did my edges and stuff while I was eating breakfast. It's about 11, a little past 11. And I'm trying to leave for church at 12 because they start at 12:30. But yeah, as you can tell by the title of this video, I just want to do a little life update for y'all. I was gonna make this Q&A, but I was like, I didn't, honestly, I forgot to. I just randomly woke up this morning. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. But anywho, neither here nor there. Happy New Year! Last time y'all saw me was for my birthday vlog, I want to say. So your girl is 26. The last time I did a life update video for y'all was maybe like a year and a half ago. So I figured, you know, I'll do a life update. Just as two disclaimers, I am exhausted. I mean, I feel rested today, but I'm just in my sleepy girl era. I had 2 weeks off in the beginning of the new year, which is a blessing. But yeah, I was able to have 2 weeks off in the beginning of the year. And one of those weeks, obviously, I was in Cabo. And if you haven't watched that vlog, go ahead and watch it because we had a lot of fun in Cabo. I actually still have a tan. My tan line's over here, but obviously I don't see that right now. Anywho. But yeah, so Cabo was a vibe. And then when I came back, I didn't have any work that week. And actually, I started a new job. So today is Sunday. I started my new job on Tuesday, which was the day after Martin Luther King Day. So I did my first week was like a 4-day work week because of MLK Day. Yeah, so I'm not gonna say nervous, but I'm like, wow, I haven't had to have a full work week of like intense work in a while. Because at my last job, even when I was ending, it was a holiday season, so like things were really slow anyway. Yeah. So I'm just exhausted. Whenever I start a new job, I'm honestly just exhausted anyway. The same thing happened at my last job. I was just really, really tired. So I'm just in my sleepy girl era. It is what it is. Hopefully I can fit in a nap today. Yesterday I had all these plans, not plans, but like I didn't have plans to go out, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this in the house. I'm gonna do this. I'm doing a Valentine's Day tree this year. So I'm like, I'm gonna finish the tree, all of this, all that. I'm gonna clean. None of that happened. I did wash dishes though, but none of that happened. I just weren't rested all day because I'm just exhausted. But yeah, I just wanted to update y'all. So that is life update number 1. Your girl has a new job. There's honestly like a whole, not kind of, but there's like a whole story and testimony behind that, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I'm ready to share that with like crap. I don't know if I'm ready to share that with like the general public just yet. Only the people closest to me know. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to share that with the general public yet, but there definitely is a testimony behind that. So if you haven't already, trust God with everything in your life, especially your career. And God sees past what we can see. I always say that, but it's one thing to say, another thing to see it in real time, you know? So God definitely, absolutely sees past what we see. Yeah, so yeah, trust God with your career, people. If you got nothing from this, sorry, y'all. If you got nothing from this video, trust God with your career. Anywho, yeah, so that's like the main thing that's been going on. I also have been dating, which is not necessarily like, I mean, obviously I'm single, so what else am I supposed to do besides date? I mean, you know, I'm not, how do I say? I'm not on a break from dating at the moment, I should say that. But I feel like this era of me dating, this is not a lot of foundation, but you know what? I'm actually okay with that. I like this coverage, I'm cool with it. And it works because I'm still tan. But yeah, so what was I saying? My mind is all over, like I'm not pala at all. If you spoke to me in the last week, you know, just pala. Anywho, I don't even remember what I was saying, y'all. That's how much time. Yes, that's what I was saying. So I feel like I'm in a new dating era, not because the pool of men has changed per se, because if you're single, you know, it's the Hunger Games out here. But this foundation is really dark, but like I'm really dark. I don't know why. Anywho, what am I saying? Yeah, so I feel like I've changed my mindset on dating. I'm not gonna lie, like there was this guy, we were talking, not even for a week, but like we were talking like heavily, you know, all day around, calling each other during the day. He would call me when he was on break at work and all of that. And, you know, we were talking about like what we both want for the future. And like we had a lot of like goals and stuff that had aligned. And it just felt like, you know, I don't want to say the perfect match, but it just felt like it was like a good, you know, at least something good to explore. And he ghosted me. And yeah, he ghosted me, and I realized like it really hit me hard that he ghosted me. Mind you, it hadn't even been a week. So I really had to do a lot of self-seeking, self-searching, what do they call it? Self-searching, whatever they call it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I had to look within myself and be like, Pamela, why are you so impacted by someone you were only talking to for less than a week? And then from that moment on, I was working on and have been working on like not getting emotionally attached. Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm never gonna get emotionally attached. Obviously, one day I'm gonna have a man, and you should be emotionally attached to your man, yes. But he wasn't even my man. We hadn't even met in person yet, and I'm over here not broken, but like I'm over here like actually affected by the fact that he ghosted me. Like I personally feel like that's a problem, and I had to check myself, if I'm being honest, and some of my loved ones had to check me too, and I'm glad they did. So ever since then, which was a couple months ago, I've been like working on just not being emotionally attached and enjoying dating for what it is. Like you're getting to know someone else. It's a nice experience, but the reality is you don't know how long this is gonna last. Obviously the goal is for it to last a lifetime, but the reality is every single person, and this is for both men and women alike, every single person you meet is not gonna be your person. And I've decided to stop trying to fit people into the mold or like put them against like the, okay, can you be my husband list? I'm not doing that anymore. You know, I'm getting to know you as you are. If we click, we click. If we don't, we don't. Sorry, y'all, my phone was acting up. But yeah, like I'm not about to put all this dip on my chip or on your chip or all these expectations on a man that I just met. I think for me, one thing I also realized too, like, I don't be saying like, I love you, you to love my life. I ain't, you know, obviously. I'm not doing all that with a person that I just met. But I did realize that in my head, I go too far in my thoughts of how far I can go with a person when we first start. And that is definitely something that I have improved a lot on, because at the end of the day, everyone doesn't even deserve to have that picture in your head of being at the top of the aisle or like playing with your kids or like everyone does not deserve even to have you think of them that way. So yeah, needless to say, and my upstairs neighbors I think they have an in-home gymboree. That's the only explanation I have for this. But yeah, like I feel like I've done a lot better with that. And it really took that situation to wake me up like, girl, stand up. And that's made dating, I'm not gonna say easier, but it's made it less annoying, for lack of a better term. I don't know why like my makeup is not blending the way I want it to blend. I haven't worn matte foundation in a while too, though. That could be why. Anywho, but yeah, like what was I gonna say? I am not putting so much dip on my chip. I am not putting expectations on men that I just met or that I just started talking to. Like, I'm not doing that anymore, because I feel like at the end of the day, it just sets ourselves up for disappointment. And I feel like, again, this could be for men and women. Like, I'm not about to go set myself up for disappointment, you know? Yeah, and also like managing my expectations. Like, for example, right now it's January. Y'all already know my favorite holiday after my birthday is Valentine's Day. And I feel like you have to be realistic. Like, if you're talking to someone around Valentine's Day and they're not your man, maybe you haven't gone on a date yet, maybe you guys haven't met in person yet, like formally, don't expect anything. Honestly, the most I expect is maybe like a happy Valentine's Day text if we're already talking that day. But hi that, I don't expect no big bouquet of roses at my door, because to be honest, I don't know you. You probably don't even have my address. Like, we have to be realistic, and I feel like that is just the era that I'm in regards to dating, and it makes it easier, you know, and letting things roll off the cuff and not letting things impact me so much, I feel like has definitely been helpful. And like having your own boundaries, like you don't need to be talking to nobody on the phone no 24/7. You have a life, okay? Even if you're not busy, like you have a life. You don't need to be talking to nobody no 24/7, making them a part of your life to where like if they stop talking to you for whatever reason, now you actually feel that impact. Like no, anybody got time for that. At least that's how I think. You don't have to agree, obviously, but at least that's how I see it. Yeah. So there's that. So yeah, those are just like some of the, well, it's not really a dating update, but like I guess I've updated the way that I date. That's probably the better way to put it. So yeah, I've updated the way that I date. And I feel like it's been beneficial and helpful for me. I've also been trying to be a little more, I don't know if the word is like rambunctious, but like I'm very big on like my standards, and there are certain things I will never compromise on, like the character of a person, but I'm just learning to, you know, just try to be a little bit more adventurous. I'm young, I'm not even 30 yet. You know, I just turned 26, and though dating can be ghetto, at the end of the day, once I find my person, I'm not gonna be going on any more first dates. I'm not gonna, you know, so at least try to, you know, enjoy that part, enjoy not being committed to anyone. Anybody clocking you, can anybody tell you what, I mean, granted, you know, just because you have a man doesn't mean they can tell you what to do, but you know what I mean. Like, can anybody tell you, no, you don't have anyone else to consider but you, which can be a blessing. And then when you have someone to consider, that's a blessing too, you know? So yeah, there is that. Setting powder. Oh yeah, this base looks much better. But yeah, so yo, how did this foundation make such a mess? I'm gonna have to wash this whole robe and soak it. I don't know how the foundation made such a mess. But yeah, so that is what has been going on with the dating portion of my life. In terms of work, I'm still an executive assistant, and I still enjoy and love my job. Yes, I still enjoy and love my job. I just work for a different company now. No shade at all to the company I used to work for. Still love them. I'm still so grateful for the opportunity. But God made it clear that, you know, it was just time for me to do something else, you know? So yeah, there is that. If you've like been watching me for like a while, like years, you know that I do suffer from seasonal depression. And this year I've obviously or this season I should say, I've definitely had my moments, but it's been much better. And I'm not gonna even say like, oh, I mean, yeah, I did contribute to that, but I just gotta shout out to my therapist and my doctors who have just really just kind of like helped me and made sure that I'm good. I think the one thing that was also helpful is that I was very proactive this year. Like in the summer, I was talking to my doctors about like, okay, this is what I struggle with in the winter. What do I do? How do I prevent that from happening again? Or, you know, how can I make it better for myself this year? And I think that's one thing I would really suggest is if you know you've struggled with it in the past, before the weather even gets cold, talk to your healthcare providers, talk to a therapist, like, you know, start looking into those things. Because at least for me, I realized that it's also made a big difference. Because last year, I went to talk to the healthcare provider, my therapist, all that stuff in like October when my friend passed away, and I was already struggling a lot. So this was in 2022. So it was more reactive, but this time it's been proactive, and I definitely do see and feel the difference. So that would be my recommendation to you all. I'm not gonna go into like the detail, but you know, obviously if you know me personally, or if you don't know me personally, you can always like leave a comment or DM me if you want a little more insight into you know, what I did to help me cope this season. But I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I need to focus, and then I'll be right back. All right, brows are done. They look good. I need to get my eyebrows done, but for being filled in, they look good. Okay. But yeah, there's that. So job has been doing well. The apartment, apartment has been great. Actually, 2024 is going to be my 3rd year in the apartment. So I've been here for 2 years. And it's been a blessed 2 years. There are, of course, times where adulting gets the best of me, but I feel like that's like everyone. Happens to the best of us. But yeah, still thankful, still grateful, still blessed. I've been spending a lot more time with my parents. And they are very much spoiled, but you know what? At the moment, that's all right with me. I love them. They're my parents, but they're also my babies, you know? If you know, you know. Yeah, so, yeah, this looks better. Yeah, so that's been a blessing to be able to just like spend more time with my parents. I'm just very glad that they're still here. You already know I've dealt with like a lot of death in my life, especially the last couple of years. Yeah, y'all already know I've dealt with a lot of death in my life over the last couple of years. So the fact that I still have my parents here, I don't take that for granted at all. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. Yeah. So I feel like I wish I had more to tell y'all, but I thought I had more. This freaking concealer keeps falling. For whatever reason, I thought I had more to update y'all on. Maybe I should have written something down so I can remember all of it, but that's really it. I'm changing my mindset, I should say, around dating has been evolving, and I feel like it's been beneficial for me, to try to, you know, just enjoy the moments. And if it becomes something great, and if it doesn't, you know, I still enjoy the moment, and I'm not like distraught, you know, gonna pass out because someone don't like me or because someone ghosts me, you know. So yeah, that's been better. I got a new job. So that's been a blessing. It's gonna make me travel a little bit more, but hey, I'm not mad at it. Yeah, so it's just all been a blessing. I feel pretty good, even with like the seasonal depression. But again, like being proactive instead of reactive is, I think, the bigger difference around this season, around this time. Because of course, like the season started in 2023. Yeah, so compared to when it started in 2022, is a noticeable difference. And again, like everything ain't perfect, and I do still have my moments. I do get emotional sometimes, not necessarily because of the seasonal depression, but like, you know, life still happens, even when you try to be proactive and making sure that you're okay, though you struggle with seasonal depression. So I still have my moments, but I feel like, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but honestly, like when it comes to certain things like that I've cried a lot over, or I'm not a big crier, so if I'm crying over something, that's like a big thing, 'cause I'm not a big crier. When it comes to certain things, I don't know if this is good or bad. My cousin kind of was trying to get on me about this, and I get it. A part of me is just like, listen, you're only gonna be crying over this for so long. You ain't finna be up here curling a ball about this same situation forever. And that's like, I kind of have that approach to almost a lot of situations besides the loss of like my grandmother's, my aunt, my friend, like the people I've lost over the past couple of years, obviously, because they ain't coming back. But yeah, besides that, I don't know if this is me being hard on myself, but I just feel like I ain't finna sit up here crying all day, every day, or even every week over the same situation for how long? Like, I feel like after a year or so, I was like, all right, Pamela, wrap it up. Okay, suck them up, suck them tears up. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but at least that's what I would do. Cause I'm like, I ain't gonna be crying and sad over this same situation forever. I guess, I don't know if this is a life update per se, but there was one relationship that was pretty pivotal in my life. I have not spoken about this really to anyone, but yeah, all I'm gonna say is there was one relationship that, well, I should say I thought, well, I mean, it was pivotal to my life that I no longer have. So I've definitely been dealing with like the grief of losing that relationship and grieving, you know, what you thought your life would look like with this person, you know what I mean? But God has shown me that, I feel like through that situation, God really showed me to just increase my dependency on him. And it's one of those, I tend to ask existential questions. And even like my therapist noticed that. So she's like, you're always asking like, well, why did this have to happen? And why did that have to happen? And da-da-da-da. And she was like, sometimes you just have to accept things. And so that's what I'm working on, just accepting things as they are. because that'll help me just live a more peaceful life. I feel like instead of just asking, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why does this have to happen? How does this happen? Da, 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 da. Like, you know, and again, I think I had my time of asking those questions, and sometimes I still do, don't get me wrong, but I think it's good that my focus, I've been prompted, let me fix this. I've been prompted to shift my focus more so to, okay, how do we accept what is? First of all, thank God I did not wear my clothes, because the romper I'm wearing would have been ruined. There's literally, y'all can't see, but there's foundation basically all over, splattered all over the room. I don't know how that happened, but here we are. This blush. But yeah, like, so that's probably been, for me, one of the biggest changes personally over the last year or so. I'm not gonna go into detail about it. If you know me personally, please don't ask me about it. But this is my life updates, and I'm being honest. And you already know, if you know me personally, I'll share it if and when I'm ready. But yeah, it was one of the, I thought, you know, it was one of the most important relationships in my, I'm sorry, my nail just flew off. That hurt. I'm trying to open my freaking blush and my nail just flew off. And my next nail appointment is until the weekend. How fun. So there's that. Happy Sunday to me. And it definitely took some of my nail off with it, but whatever. And now the blush finally decides to open. All right, we're one nail down, people. Anyhow. Yeah, so there's that. It's been really tough having to live without this person. But again, it really has increased my dependency on God. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, there are certain situations where it was like, I would normally call that person for advice or just, you know, to vent or whatever. And instead of that, at first I was like, trying to replace them with other people. If I'm being honest, not replacing them with other people, but I was calling other people. I was like, well, I can't call this person. Let me call, so-and-so. But honestly, now I'm at a point where it's just like, I'm not saying I don't talk to people. Obviously I do. I have relationships in my life, but there are so many moments where I just get down on my knees and I'm just praying instead. Like, and I think one of the harder lessons is that, like, no matter who the person is and how close they were to you or how close you were to them, I'm not going to say that everyone is replaceable. I don't feel like that's, like, fair to say. But I will say that, like, the one person that you really only need in your, the one person or relationship you really need in your life is your relationship with God. Period. I don't care if you're married, you have kids, you have the best friends on the planet, you have your siblings, you have your, your parents. The one relationship that you need to make sure, in my opinion, that you have and that you always depend on is your relationship with God. Because people are people. People will get mad. You'll have your arguments. You might not talk for a day or two, but like God will always listen to you. So that is definitely one of the bigger life lessons that I learned. Like, depend on God. Point blank, period. Bottom line, you need God. Depend on God. Like, that's just the bottom line. That's the moral of my life update. Depend on God. Because I depended on God, He guided my career. Because I depended on God, He dried those tears that I was telling y'all that I cried a lot over the last year. Like, depend on God. That's all I got. My nail, this whole thing really just flew off just because I was trying to figure out this freaking blush. Ridiculous. Anywho, yeah, that is the moral of the story. Depend on God. Yeah, I feel like this video is all over the place. I feel like I'm all over the place. I don't know if I'm even gonna put this up because I just feel like I'm all over the place. But anywho, in the meantime, gonna do a layer on lip liner. Oh, did I tell y'all I went on a date a couple weeks ago? I did go on a date a couple weeks ago. I highly doubt the person that I went on a date with is watching this, but if you are, hey. Like, no hard feelings or anything with him. I just don't know that we're each other's person, and that's fine. The one thing I must say, it was just so nice to, like, be treated like a lady for once. Not that people treat me like a sea urchin, but you know what I mean. To go on a date, feel like a lady, have all the romance and all of that. So that was just nice, a nice experience. Yeah, so that was a nice experience. And I also want to shout out to my aunts. I have my two of my specific aunts. Y'all know who y'all are if y'all are watching this. Those are my girls. So much so to where, like, they're the ones I call when I come home from the date. I know it's not normal, but my aunts are my girls. I love them. And I'm not gonna lie, part of why I let certain people in my life into like my dating experience is because y'all gonna have a hell of a speech to give at my wedding when I finally do get my man. Yeah. I be telling people my phone jeûne, which is like a prayer service. I think it's usually like the jeûne is typically like a fasting service, a fasting prayer worship service situation. When I finally get my man and I get married and all of that, oh, not phone jeûne, come in. We are doing that fasting prayer service, period, because they know all the trenches that I had to get get my man. Okay, so just know. If you ever hear that Pamela's doing a jeûne at the church I grew up in specifically, oh, she got a man. Not just a man, a husband. Hello? Just know. I'm so serious too. Just know. I gotta tell my mom that too. I gotta tell my mom. So that when the time happens, she ready to plan my jeûne. I didn't expect the lip to be this dark, but here we are. I don't even know what time it is. Let's pray I'm not late to church. But either way, I am determined to make it to church. All right, I'm definitely gonna show you my outfit, but I need to wash my hands and all of that, especially since this freaking foundation decided to freaking explode everywhere. Oh, I need to spray my face. I'm gonna do my Morphe setting spray, and then I'm gonna do my Patrick Star one side. Y'all don't understand how the scavenger hunt I had to go on to find this stuff. But anyhow. And I probably have makeup on my earrings, so I need to get rid of that too. But anywho, I'll catch up with y'all when I'm dressed. Excuse the mess in the background, but this is the final fit. The jumpsuit is from Fashion Nova. The purse is from Glamaholic, a Black-owned purse brand that I'm obsessed with. Earrings are Forever 21. This ring is Amazon, and these bracelets are Etsy. Yeah, y'all. Let me show y'all my face in the sun. It looks so cute in the sun. Oh, look. Look, the sun is sunning. This is the first time the real sun has been out in a good week because it's been so snowy over here in New York. And this is my half done Valentine's treat that I need to finish. Ah, isn't this cute? I'm obsessed. Love y'all. Bye. Mwah.